The relationship between Robbie and Billy is so integral to the story that's unfolding, and yet, from the audience's point of view, we never saw it. The engine for so much of what drives the narrative is just kind of referenced, and then you have this one scene where we get just a glimpse into what was lost.
The quarry is sort of like this magical place in the show. And for Robbie, it reminds him of his brother. It's the happier times in his life. I think it gives you a ton of context as to who Robbie is and why he's doing what he's doing.
I never really even talked about this with Brad, but I imagine Billy kind of raised Robbie. Billy is Robbie's hero. He's his older brother. I think they were inseparable.
I think the scene is kind of doing a lot of heavy lifting. It's also showing you Maeve and her father.
Maeve and Billy's relationship is very complicated, but there's so much love there. He has this chaotic, lovable, crazy personality. But as Maeve grew up, she saw through that.
It was so wonderful to get to shoot at an actual quarry.
The water was really, really cold, but it was really fun.
We definitely did something different for our flashbacks. The light was a little brighter and crisper. Good memories always have sort of an extra shine to it. This kind of prettier look that denotes the past.
I'm so grateful that they adopted us.
What was important to me was for Emily to have a real voice. I wanted to explore a different side of adoption in a hopefully more honest way and how complex the feelings are. But really it came from reading a lot of testimonials and just seeing what is it like to be adopted.
The scene where Emily shows up drunk and she kind of blurs out everything that she's been holding on, not for just months, but for years. I think that's the one I've been the most nervous about. And I think there's so many layers and it's so complex. She tries to be perfect in order to fit in and to make them feel like, oh, we made the right decision.
Can we talk?
But that's not her place. She's a teenager.
When your kid shows up at home drunk, you can be like, okay, there's our kids, but he's a drunk. And so it lands in a different way. There's no control over the case at that point. There's no control over his family. He has no control over himself. That's sort of when he says, I have to get serious about all this now.
I think in the failed sting, everybody's mind is kind of reeling as to what could have gone wrong. It could be one of many things. But at the end of that particular night, it's a huge disappointment.
It's a case of like, you know, they never show.
False alarm.
I think at this point in the story, Tom's already onto something not seeming right about the communication levels within this case. And the why of that is yet to be uncovered.
Like any task force, there is this sense of urgency, and nothing ever stops until they solve this crime.
Come on, get up.
No. Grasso, he likes the task force, but he especially likes Lizzie.
It's happening.
And they start to have a quite unexpected connection.
I think she sort of often initially connects with people through like humor and alcohol.
There's a fuck you about her, you know, which I think is very appealing to him as a person.
When people sort of show her kindness, she sort of falls for them. And I also think she just really fancies him. When Grasso rejects Lizzie, maybe initially she thinks it's like an excuse because he doesn't like her.
I'm sorry, I can't, I gotta.
And then when she realizes that he actually does mean it, I think she finds that quite funny and endearing. It sort of tells her how much it means to him.
You know, sometimes when you really care about someone, there's like a duty of care to something and not wanting to rush things. And I think Russell actually really does care about Lizzie.
I know this is like a heavy drama and there's action and there's all kinds of intrigue. But in my mind, the Robbie and Cliff story is a love story that are ultimately dedicated to each other and will go to great lengths to not sell each other out. And episode 4 is super evocative of that storyline, and that's what he ultimately pays the final price for. Sticking to that sense of loyalty.
Cliff. That was a hard day. I almost choked up. It was so emotional and so graphic and so brutal. But, you know, these are the rules. You messed up and now you're here. You have to pay the price. We had some kind of machine that was supposed to spit, and this machine was having a bad day. And I just said to her, just spit in my face, man. It just went everywhere, and it was so real, and it prompted this horrendous scene that kind of follows of me just like slowly wrapping his head. There was a darkness in there that day that was pretty palpable.
Cliff is now my brother, my best friend. Cliff! The only person who knows all the people that I've lost and everything we've been through together. And so at the end of episode 4, when things are unfolding in a way that does not seem good, I think Robbie's on fire. There's a version of this show that's just a really cool crime thriller, and that would be awesome, but not with Brad. He's like, I'm gonna tell a story about family. I'm gonna tell a story about loyalty and loss, and I'll throw some action in.